Hi, welcome back to our video blog series. Today we're going to talk about a larger kind of thought process, which is theme investing. Theme investing is different than sector investing. Theme investing is, by definition, a theme is actually a unifying or dominant idea, a common tie, or what I think this describes theme investing the best, which is an image, a motif that is repeated or developed throughout a work. Recent themes that's taken place, if you go back over the last 3 or 4 years, there have been two broader themes that I actually think that are very relevant and noticeable. One is with healthcare. What I mean by that is when Obamacare first started to come out, there were a number of thoughts what it might lead to as far as certain stocks in that sector. Since the passage of the law, there have been a number of investments made in healthcare that have been quite fruitful as far as returns are concerned. The other large theme that's very relevant, and you hear a lot of it, is called big data, or the term big data. That, in essence, is something that we think over the last 3 or 4 years has actually come from the standpoint of being able to manage, manipulate, understand the massive amounts of corporate data that's out there, and that has created a whole new theme as far as investing. What we've actually thought about over the last 3 or 4 months has been new themes that we think are going to be relevant on a go-forward basis. In terms of themes in our opinion last a long time. It's not a week, it's not a month, it's not a year. These are ongoing investment ideas that have large tailwinds behind them that one can really get behind. One is demographics, and that's a big term. It can mean a lot of different things. For us, in terms of the theme, what we want to talk about here or open up to the theme would be birth rates, population in terms of the age of the population, how that's going to affect healthcare, how that's going to affect overall retirement, how that's actually going to affect overall global growth from the standpoint of the aging of populations throughout the globe. A second theme that is relative, not new, but we think it's continuing to really start to sprout a number of seeds is with energy. And energy, not so much just from the standpoint of the domestic energy, which we think is a true evolution that's taking place, but also technology within energy and how technology is actually becoming much more of an integral part in investing and actually the process of energy. One of the newer things that we need to be aware of is electric cars. And with the advent of how well Tesla is doing, we think that there's a number of different new companies that possibly might be able to look at as well. In addition to that, the domestic policy changes. And what I mean by that is when energy becomes an export, and it is becoming an export for the United States, what does that do to our political and also from the standpoint of our growth aspects, from how we look at the world and how we actually do things or actually pass laws, because we're in much better control of our own destiny with oil supply. In terms of security, this is another theme that we'd like to try to bring up that we think is relatively important. Clearly this is not new. We read about it for the last 3 or 4 years every day in the papers. We can talk from a bigger picture globally, domestically, personally, and all those things are going to be an issue going forward, especially with the advent of technology and how we're using cell phones and how we're going to be using credit cards and how we're going to be paying for things, the leaks that we're seeing being paid for things. This is an ongoing issue. This is something that's relatively important, not only for us as individuals, but our country as well, and it's not going away anytime soon. The last thing that we think is very, very broad, but encompasses we think a large investment opportunity is agriculture. There's a global change in global diets. There's more consumption of meat, there's more consumption of chicken, and what does that do to diets? How does that change in terms of overall herd growth? How does that change in terms of availability? In addition to that, how farming is changing. Arable acres is shrinking, so you need to be able to produce more with less. How technology plays into agriculture. One of the themes that we believe is going to be very important is water. We believe that water is going to be an integral part as far as how countries are actually going to be negotiating water rights and the need for water, how much chemicals can be used, from the standpoint of food growth, what we tried to do is list 4 large themes. And from those 4 large themes, what we now need to do, anyone needs to do when they think about things, is do their homework. You need to do your due diligence. And due diligence from the standpoint of overall growth, the dynamics of that growth, the catalyst for growth, from the standpoint of accelerating that growth. Themes are long-term investment ideas. They can be very, very small, or they can be bigger in picture. One of the things that we like to talk about when we make investment ideas is know what you own and why you own it. And that's so true when we come up with a new idea or new theme. What we are going to do with this is an ongoing basis is come back and talk about possible ideas in each area. We're going to kind of dig a little deeper with each theme as we go forward. But we wanted to kind of give you some bigger picture ideas as far as what we're trying to look for going forward. We welcome any feedback. Please don't hesitate on emailing me at mneedleman@fusioninvest.com. Look forward to our next video series. Thank you.